तो सबसे पहले आई वांटेड टू डिफरेंशिएट, नॉट डिफरेंशिएट, आई वांटेड टू टेल यू, और हमने पहले इस पे डिस्कस किया हुआ है कि जैसे जब कभी आप मैनेजमेंट वगैरह में पढ़ते हो तो जनरली विल सी स्ट्रेटजिक मैनेजमेंट और स्ट्रेटजी पेपर रेदर देन पॉलिसी पेपर। बट आज से अगर लगभग 25 साल 30 साल पहले अगर तुम किसी कॉलेज के मैनेजमेंट का अगर वो दोगे, देखोगे सिलेबस देखोगे, तो यू विल फाइंड दैट दे डोंट हैव पेपर फॉर स्ट्रेटजिक मैनेजमेंट, है ना। स्ट्रेटजिक मैनेजमेंट दे यूज टू हैव पेपर फॉर बिजनेस पॉलिसीज, and they can also add business policy and strategy with it. But later this particular paper and but this particular name got vanished, and many management college or all management college started putting the paper name as a strategic management process, a strategic management process. So now I have a question. If for business, है ना, if for business they have, if for business they have changed, they have uh, they have changed their way of thinking, that rather in the way of thinking with policy, we should think in terms of strategy. So if this is the current practice, that means this should be more effective, this should be more effective. But for government processes, or for governance process or government process, we still talk in the term of public policy. तो ये भी एक अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, वेदर वी शुड थिंक कि ऐसा क्यों है, व्हाई बिजनेसेस हैज गॉट इवॉल्व्ड, है ना, बट गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट और स्टिल नॉट इवॉल्विंग। क्योंकि अगर अगर स्ट्रेटजी वुड हैव बीन मोर इफेक्टिव, तो कम से कम कुछ यूनिवर्सिटीज या कुछ इंस्टीट्यूशन, they would have started talking in terms of governance strategy or government strategy or public strategy processes, है ना। we still talk in terms of public policy। तो एक तो ये, तो सबसे इस चीज को समझने के लिए, बिफोर वी ट्राई टू गिव एनी सर्टेन रीजनिंग बिहाइंड दिस, let's understand that what is strategy. So strategy is like, one of my teacher used to say, strategy is means to end. So whatever end goal you have decided, all those things you'll do to reach there is your strategy. And if you'll try, if I'll try to explain it a bit, it is like all the steps that we are going to take, not activity wise steps, that will be the operational strategy. All the steps that you are going to take in order to achieve our goals. Steps or processes that we'll build, or many things will come underneath: steps, tasks, activities, and everything that we'll do, and planned. It should be planned, not ad hoc. So all the planned steps or activities we'll do to achieve our goal is public policy strategy. So what do you see here, that we are keeping these two things separately, goals and objective as a different entity, and strategy as a different entity. When you will mix both of them together, it will be called policy. So, what exactly we are saying here, that while thinking in terms of policy, initially we are not very much bothered about the strategy, and but we are also keeping a strategy intact. मतलब we cannot think goals without strategies too. So in policy, we are thinking, we are trying to decide our agenda or goals At the same time, we are also thinking about the strategies also. So we are not neglecting strategy while thinking about goal. In business, we decide our goals first. We decide our target, what are the numbers that we want to achieve, what are the area that we want to cover. You know, if the goals we decide first, and then we put everything to reach that goal. But here, while thinking about goal, we are also thinking about strategy hand in hand. And we are not thinking about strategy in that detail at the time we are making policy. And we are trying to, when we are trying to make policy, because we know there can be many changes in between while we'll go for implementation or other things. So what kind of a strategy we are thinking? We are not thinking very in detailed operational strategy, but all the strategic steps which should be there, or which we should think in order to put this policy under constitutional framework. That's why we need to think, or we need to take a strategy all along with decision of goals. So here, every time when I'm saying policy, I'm just saying public policy. Okay. I would like to differentiate also कि when only policy is being said and when public policy is being said, there is a difference between these two also. So here I wanted to, or I was trying to differentiate a strategy with policy. And the only thing that you need to remember, or you need to keep in your mind, is when government think about policy, it is thinking both at one time, goals as well as strategies. And why it is important? Because uh, unlike corporates, government is not free. Government is not full of resources. Government is cannot just put everything to reach one goal. For business, it might be possible. But business, they have a lot of flexibility in order to in order to reach their goals or decide what resources to be given to which process. But in government, you will not have everything for one of your goal. So you cannot drastically change your resource allocation process. So that's why whenever a government is thinking about goal, they cannot neglect strategic steps. They cannot just put the decision of a strategy for later. So they will have to accommodate both at one time. And the reason behind the reason that I was telling you was that government is not very free from the constitution, or the law of governance, or the court, and every other bounding factor or binding factor which keeps government under a particular framework. So because of that, we need to think both together, and that's why it is called policy. And the other differentiation that I wanted to tell you is that whenever I say just policy, it can be policy for anything. मतलब like you may have a policy, or an NGO may have a policy, or a private institution may have a policy. But when we say public policy, uh, it is the policy which is being drafted or executed or being made by government and its government government or its agencies, or its agency, any of its agency, direct or indirect, है ना? मतलब it can be a commissioned body or non-commissioned body, or any body which is being uh, made by, or which has been made by government. Like, let's say that TRI is an independent organization, but policy made by TRI will also be called public policy. So it's not just when people from Lok Sabha are making policy, then only it will called policy. And also, public policy is nothing like it can only it will call matlab like not those policy which are being made for entire nation or entire state or entire region. They are not just public policy. Any smallest step when government takes to solve a problem, those steps are also a kind of public policy. Okay, so maybe we will not call it public policy in a very mm, subjective way, but anything government try to do uh, in order to achieve some goal with some certain activity, that will be public policy. So public policy may come as bills, just simple rules, or a change of operations, or in any format like these. Okay, so and I'll give you an example also. So there used to be a course before, there used to be a course in test which was called development policy. So here when we were talking about policy, it was not just from government side. A private institution or a CSR wing of a company may also come up with a policy which tries to improvise the people's life or achieve some goal which is for common people, uh, or or when a private business, they can also think in term of policy. So when we attach this word public, it actually makes this particular policy uh, under the government uh, provisions, or when it is coming from government or government made agencies. Okay, so अभी तक मैंने मैंने दो तीन चीजों को आपको ट्राई किया एक्सप्लेन करने का. एक तो पॉलिसी एंड स्ट्रेटजी में डिफरेंस. सेकंड, द थ्री क्वेश्चन which I tried to solve or discuss here is, or topic you can say, the strategy and policy. Second, why government still in things of still think or work in terms of policy, while businesses have moved towards strategic management process. And the third thing was policy and public policy. ठीक है, तो ये जो है ये तीन पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन है या कंसेप्ट है विच आई वांटेड टू क्लैरिफाई टू यू, एंड एवरीवन नीड्स टू रिमेम्बर इट. ठीक है, ऐसे ही तुमको याद रखना है. ठीक है, तो लेट मी आस्क यू अगेन.